The Coach Calhoun Show is brought to you by Little General and Valley Distributing. The Coach Calhoun Show will be on timeswv.com each Wednesday.
The other day you got tested a little bit against UC down in Charleston. What can you say about the way that your team, hung in, battled back, and then, Jamal hit the big shot?
Yeah, Sean, we really got tested. Both, opponents I thought did a great job. Charleston and West Virginia State. I thought they played really, really hard. We go back to the Charleston game. Our press was unable to turn them over. For the game, they had 7 turnovers. If we don't turn people over, it's very, very difficult to get out in transition, very difficult to get easy baskets. Playing that particular team, Charleston, probably the best half-court defensive team in the Mountain East Conference, really made us work for baskets. I thought we got, a little bit complacent on offense. We didn't move the ball, but you got to give credit to Charleston. I thought they had a great game plan.
Okay, now being able for your team to kind of adjust on the fly when the press isn't working, did you fall back into another defense, or did you keep pressing and then just build off?
Well, we try to do a little bit of everything. Our press at times has been top 5 in the country, so we can't go away from who we are. We average 19 turnovers a game, which is top 5 in the country. So you have to do what you're good at. I just think that particular day, Charleston did a great job of really controlling the tempo of the game. And we were very fortunate. Jamal stepped up and I thought made a big, big shot. For him personally, he's missed a couple free throws earlier in the year. But for him to bounce back in that moment and live in that moment and make a big shot, I couldn't be prouder of him.
Excellent. And when you're out in transition, you can get buckets, you can get to the hoop and kick out the threes with everyone around. In the half court, how does it help that you have somebody like Matt Bengaya or Sham who can make plays within a set piece offense and not out on the run?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think anytime you have an all-league player, maybe a potential All-American on the low block, it really opens things up for perimeter guys, not only driving the ball but jump shooting. And really, if you look at our stats through 80 minutes of basketball, both the Charleston game and the state game, we did not make shots. They were point-blank shots. They were shots from the three-point line. I think we shot total 24% in 80 minutes of basketball. Our guys got to get back in the gym. Our guys got to get more confident. But really, they got to see the ball go through the basket. I think when this group sees the ball go in the basket, their defense gets better. We're able to set up our press. If you don't score the ball, it's very difficult to get in a pressing defense because the ball's not going through the basket. So, those are some things that I think we've got to get better really, really quick because we got another tough turnaround here on Saturday.
Okay, you guys have risen up to number 3 in the polls. Talk about what your team has done to get to this point. What are you guys working?
I told them before the game, you've earned the right to be the number 3 team in the country, but you have to carry yourself like a number 3 team in the country. That means when things aren't going good, you've got to stick together. I thought this weekend we took a couple steps backwards in that department as far as togetherness, team. But we did make winning plays in the final 3 minutes of both games. If you go back and watch the film, but whether it may be a big rebound by Matt Bengaya in the Charleston game to allow us for a chance to make a game-winning 3 to Jamal's shot, and then really in the state game we made some critical baskets. Shamgod Wells made a big 3. I thought certain guys really stepped up. But when you're the number 3 team in the country, you have to be able to play as well at home. And then when you go on the road, you got to play even better because I think, as we all know, it's hard to win on the road. You're not in your arena. You're in a different bed. You're going against the fans. It's a difficult task.
Building on that a little bit, coming in as the number 3, anytime you go out on the road, everyone's going to be up for that game. You're getting every team's best shot. Is that something you work with your guys, just knowing that?
It's probably something, Sean, we need to address a little bit more. I think they're well aware of it now after, escaping, I would like to say, the last 2 games. But I also think they're not happy the way we played. We're off today. You see probably 7, 8 guys in the gym. They're told not to go in, but they decided to go anyways because I don't think they're happy where we're at after the 2 games. They want to get better. They're team guys. They're good kids. We've just got to coach better. We've got to play better. But at the same time, we got to understand we won both games, so we can't be satisfied with our performance. So we've just got to keep plugging away day by day.
Okay, I want to build on that a little bit more as far as not being satisfied. Now, your team has risen to where they are. What are you guys doing to keep them from letting their heads get big, maybe thinking a little too much of how they are, and just how do you keep them hungry?
Well, Sean, at the end of the day, we're one game out of first place. We're in second place again. So we've been second pretty much since I've been here. So that alone is a motivation factor because we've never won a league championship. We've never hosted an NCAA tournament. So if you look at our region, the way it's shaping up after pretty much the halfway point, we're at the halfway point right now. We've played 14 games. We've got one loss. We're sitting at 13-1, and right now we would not be winning a league championship. We would not be hosting the NCAA tournament, and you're third in the country. So that shows you how good this region is. West Liberty's won. Wheeling Jesuit finally gets in the national rankings. To me, they're top 10. They're top 15. They might be number 4. They're a very, very good basketball club, and they're ranked 23rd. So some of those rankings are good. It gives you, good credibility, I think, on the recruiting trail, the fan base. But you also have to be realistic. After 14 games, we're still in second. As good as we've been, we're still a game behind West Liberty.
Okay, moving forward, you guys got Notre Dame College coming up this weekend. That means Tyree Gator, one of the premier offensive players, not only in the Mountain East, but in the country. What do you guys have to do to slow him down?
We probably got to hope he sprains an ankle here in the next 48 hours because that's a tall task. Not only Tyree, I like Tyree. We recruited Tyree. He's from Cleveland, my hometown, so I know him and his family very well. But you got to look at Will Voorhees, tremendous player, an all-league player. He's only a sophomore. He can take you inside. He can take you out. And then you look at KT Taylor. They actually now have a third option. Before it was a two-man show. Year 2, it was a one-man show with Tyree. So he has help. They took West Liberty to overtime at home. We're up 2 with under 8 seconds. Missed a foul shot, ended up losing in overtime. This is a very, very good ball club and a very dangerous club because they can score points in a hurry. Okay,
and then they have someone like Tyree running the show, but distributing the ball and everything, they're a very efficient team. They shoot almost 50% from the field, just a little bit less than that from three-point. How important is it going to be for your press to get them out of what they do?
Well, I think pressing. I think half-court defense. I think limiting Tyree's touches. All those things come into play in this game. We've had some great battles with Notre Dame. Their head coach, Tim Koenig, is a very, very good friend of mine. Talk to him weekly. So I know their team very, very well. He knows our team very, very well. It's really going to be decided in the next 48 hours. We'll regroup tonight. We'll watch some tape on Notre Dame. We'll watch really last two games we've played and try to get better from that film. And then really the next 48 hours, we got to roll up our sleeves. We got to get mentally prepared, physically prepared, and understand our game plan going into Saturday.
Okay, I think it's safe to say your boys aren't satisfied with what they've accomplished.
Well, their coaches aren't, and I think our leaders aren't. Our leaders are Sham and Jamel Morris, and I don't think they're satisfied. And I think it starts with your team's leaders, and they've got to get that message to our team here the next 48 hours.
The Coach Calhoun Show is brought to you by Little General and Valley Distributing. The Coach Calhoun Show will be on timeswv.com each Wednesday.